up, Blazies? It is Monday, August the 18th, and it's sort of a mid-month check-in inside of Black Business Month. So those of you who have been following along across social media, maybe you're on our newsletter, perhaps you just check out the website from time to time, you'll know that we've been featuring Black-owned businesses all month long, really diving into their money stories. And in this series, we allow them to articulate the hardest lessons learned about generating and managing their cash flow, some things around what they thought their customers wanted them to sell them versus what their customers really wanted to pay for, right? And how they kind of pivoted their strategies to meet the moment, right? And really generate revenue after solving a real need. It's just been beautiful. And so today I'm going to highlight a few of the entrepreneurs that have come through. I did the same thing 2 weeks ago when we first kicked off. I gave you our first two highlights that we'd already featured, and I want to keep that rolling, right? And so I'll start off with Latoya Dixon of Union Studios. She's out in northern South Carolina with a studio space that photographers can rent, but she also does many things there, boudoir, photography, etc., including events, experiential events that really do, I'd say, undergird and serve as a force multiplier for self-love and healing and confidence and rebellion, all of the beautiful things. So when we asked her, what was her biggest surprise around what customers really wanted to pay for, it was that they wanted her to already have a space kind of set up with a creative base for them to add to, right? So she thought that they wanted a completely blank canvas because that is her preference when she gets into her creative mode. But she learned that they wanted the space already designed so that there's less effort and sweat for them in their creative process. And that was really cool. And the interview was actually illuminating for her in that she hadn't really thought about whether she wanted to sell the company. But she also liked the idea of being able to pass down her business through generations so that her legacy, right, her lineage can tap into cash flows. And so that's something that she's actively planning to look into a little more as she continues to grow and mature the business. We also featured Felicia GopaulA. She is a financial expert. She hails out of California, and she wants to make sure that everyone understands that within the next 10 years, women are expected to control over $30 trillion in financial assets. That is a whole lot of power. That is a whole lot of agency, right? And it means that it is so important that we garner the skill sets to confidently manage such a huge value system. And so in her spotlight, she articulates this opportunity for women entrepreneurs, but she also talks about the importance of not winging it, right? Like really developing systems that help them to have predictable cash flow cycles and really hold and maintain control that's important for them to have peace of mind, as well as the confidence, right, to do the things that they envision for themselves without trying to mirror so many of the things that we see in a male-dominated industry, which we know finance to be, right? A few more, because we're, again, about mid-month, a few more that we got in. One came from Patrice Chappelle. She is the founder of MelanBrand Skin, which she founded with her son. And she talks about the fact that there, isn't really a lot of intentionality put into skincare brands as it relates to really solving the problems and the needs of folks of color, right? And so that is why she started this business. And one thing that surprised her was that people really do want skincare products for boys too. Like, she underestimated that. And it was a beautiful surprise. And so she gleans a lot of happiness from just seeing boys light up with being able to access skincare that is made for them. Right. A few other realizations that she's learned the hard way is that sales don't equal cash flow, right? Like, just looking at that top line number, the money that's coming in does not mean that you have money left over at the end of the day. It doesn't mean that you have a payroll check as a founder, right? And so She's learned to really manage the mechanics around her inventory, her shipping pricing, her packaging, her marketing, and all of these other things that require her to spend before she earns as a founder. Definitely check out all of these stories on our blog. That is at blazegroup.io/blog. blazegroup.io/blog. We had another spotlight for Panchita Lanu of Punch Cosmetics. A quote that she said that I really love is, "Never give up. Look under every rock." And for those who've been building businesses and bootstrapping, partnering, and all of the things, right? You know that we have to look and turn over every single rock and to think outside of the box and not be beholden to, right, these textbook definitions around what entrepreneurship is supposed to look like. She really is solving a macro problem as well, in that despite the fact that Black women spend millions of dollars in beauty, right, on beauty products in retail, we only take up about 2% of shelf space, right? And so she has that founder lens, right, that representation of who's being able to do the selling. And so she's looking to really open doors. And so she does not look at her business as a legacy business and that it needs to be passed down because her family members don't necessarily want to do this, right? She wants to be able to sell it and use that capital to continue to create new pathways, right, for greater representation. Love that. Love the way that she's thinking about return on investment and kind of multiplying, right, what she's already done for herself, for many other people. And then last but not least, in today's episode, I'm highlighting Kayla Life of Rebrand Land AI. She does nonprofit tech, and she did a great call out around what people aren't talking about in the AI space. So obviously, people are thinking about the speed, the efficiency, the ease of access today. But one thing they are not talking about is the way that nonprofit tools that are leveraging AI has created this huge backdoor of vulnerability, right? So if security protocols are not put in place, if the technical savvy of those who are granting access to these AI tools are not well versed, right, in how to protect data and how to put guardrails across the proper things, then data breaches and manipulation of data and misuse of data is bound to happen. And so we love that highlight. We love what she is building. She definitely has a house of brands in that she has a few tech platforms that she offers to nonprofits. And so the month is really going well. Thank you to everyone that has submitted. Y'all stay tuned for more stories to come. And in the meantime, may you do well and be well.